Hey! You! Listening to this podcast right now! Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my god.
Well, you've come to the right place. Yes. Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me, Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
This is a tasty burger.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
Is butter a carb? Will you stop eating?
We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Foodies Watching Movies. I'm your host Veronica, and join me as always is my co-host Nate. How's it going, Nate?
Hey, it's pretty good. V, how are you?
I'm doing good. And Lauren is here with us again tonight as our other co-host. How's it going, Lauren?
It's going well, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Yes, I wasn't able to make it. Was the last one the one that you guys had in Lafayette?
That was 2 ago. So the last one we did was Fish Tacos. You were here. We did that one. But the one before that was the Lafayette venture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had one since.
Okay.
But it's great to be back. Today we are joined with our friend and fellow foodie.
First-time podcaster.
And first-time podcaster, Jesse. How's it going, Jesse?
Most excellently.
Great. Welcome to Foodies Watching Movies.
Well, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We're glad you're here today. It's episode 6 of season 2, by the way. I don't know what we're going to title. Oh, it's Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving.
Duh. That's what we're doing today. We're having Friendsgiving.
Today we had our very first Foodies Watching Movies Friendsgiving with Lauren and Jesse and Sarah. And what did we make tonight?
Well, you had this really brilliant idea to make Hawaiian roll sliders with turkey, brie, and cranberry.
Yeah, because I thought this would be like a good pregame to Thanksgiving, since that's what's coming up this week.
It was an incredible pregame to Thanksgiving. Just the sandwich alone was awesome. We also made some mashed potatoes, stuffing, and sweet potato fries, and I think that's it.
Yeah, and I didn't eat any of the sweet potato fries. We left them in the oven because we forgot about them. We were too busy eating everything else, which was ready first.
Everything was delicious.
Okay,
I'm glad you think so. Jesse is a longtime chef. I want to talk about that for a second. So,
sure.
How many years were you a chef?
It depends on what you know. I was never like a head chef.
Okay, okay. I get that.
I was a cook for a long time, and I definitely worked my way up,
You were in the culinary world heavily.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse is a fellow fast foodie. Didn't you work at McDonald's?
That was one of my first jobs. I worked at Norm's Pumpkin Patch for my first job, but I worked at McDonald's. Like when I was 16, I got a job at McDonald's, worked there till I was like 18.
Okay.
And went away to college.
So let me ask the question. We always talk about it here. We've all had a fast food experience, working a job. Do you have any tales from the fast foodie of like some crazy shit that you experienced or funny?
Well,
yeah,
I know
definitely.
all of the people that he worked with at McDonald's. So
yeah.
There are
this
some
was
stupid
crazy,
stories.
actually. So McDonald's is ridiculous. Let's just get that out of the way right here. It just in the start.
In our small little town.
Yeah, it's a little town. Like how many? 10,000 people?
12,000
people?
We're talking about Lowell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you work at the Lowell McDonald's?
Yeah.
When?
2004 to like 2006 probably, or 2005 to 2000, or 2003 to 2006.
I started working there in like May of 2006.
Yeah,
Weird.
so like right after I left.
What a small world.
So May
of 2016. No, wait. No, 2006.
Did we work there together?
No, 2006. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I graduated in 2009.
Okay.
From Griffith.
Okay.
So I worked at the Lowell McDonald's from like my sophomore year until this November of my senior year.
That's hilarious.
Weird. You guys completed like a loop.
So it must have been like right after I left or something? I
yeah,
don't
probably.
You. Do I? No.
Mm-mm.
Not from there, anyways.
Not from there.
So back to it. Give us some of the crazy shit that went down. Like I know because I also did a term at McDonald's. I did 2 terms of 2 years.
We could have a podcast just about all the shenanigans
in McDonald's
that were done at McDonald's.
Well, then let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, because didn't you work at McDonald's during that time when that movie Waiting was really popular?
Oh my God!
Jesus.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like there would. Okay, so just because of that, like the break room was in the basement, so like you'd like get off break and be walking up the stairs, and there would be a fully stretched out ball sack at the top of the stairs, and
Batwing,
and then you lose you get the Batwing. Dude,
if we're being
on a daily
honest,
basis,
I do love that movie.
Okay, if we're being honest here, and I'm not like fronting just to be funny for the podcast, I did get somebody with the goat at McDonald's.
Nice.
We were doing buns because Hoopston McDonald's, similar to Lowell's, had a basement, right? So you would unload a truck directly
like
into the basement.
Fucking slide.
Yeah,
correct.
It makes everything easy.
Yes, exactly. So my buddy was taking the cart around, and I prepared myself as the goat would have you do. And he came around the corner, and he was like, "Oh!" He was so like, and then I was like, "Okay, we're done here. Okay, back to work."
Yeah. Okay. So
Wow.
that's nothing. That is
Boys.
nothing. There's. Okay.
It was like 5 a.m.
This could get bad. Like I can like.
Can't wait.
Like,
Please do.
I should not say the things.
You might. Here's what I would suggest: if you're worried, you can tell the tales, but don't use their actual names.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they already know
good
my
advice.
name. So
the name has been.
people can use deductive reasoning,
But you don't. We didn't give your last name, and we don't have to do that.
Okay.
So you're just.
I'm
you're
just like,
still. You're
You're
Jesus.
good. You're good, man.
You're anonymous.
Jesus.
Okay, so go on with these stories.
Okay. One night we always like would smoke joints and shit, like whatever, you know. We're in high school, we're at McDonald's,
Okay.
fucking smoking joint. On your break, whatever. So we're high. The management at night were like really cool with us. So, and we're in high school. Remember?
You guys probably partied with these people,
dude. We're partying. So we actually were getting drunk as fuck at McDonald's, like closing McDonald's down and shit. And I was filling up the mop bucket. Or let's blame it on me. I was filling up the mop bucket, and I'm a multitasker, so I like go and do some other shit. So I forgot about the mop bucket, and we were drinking.
Going.
It was probably because we were drinking. I like got sidetracked. I was drinking, and then fucking
never got back to it.
Yeah, so I flooded the whole office.
Absolutely.
And there's the power strip for
Oh
the
my God.
computer system of McDonald's, you know. Just kind of submerged in water, no big deal, you know. I'm like, I'm not walking on that water. It's fucking electrified.
Whoa.
The computer's still on though. So I'm like, fuck, we gotta handle this. I run across with like a beer in my hand, and I slip, and my beer fucking like flies and hits the ceiling, and like gets all in the ice machine.
Oh my God.
Dude, it was the hugest, ridiculous mess ever.
That sounds like something you would see in a movie.
It was bad.
The ridiculous stoner movie.
Like the thing
Like
that
Clerks.
shouldn't happen to somebody and totally happens to somebody.
Yeah, the worst. Whoa.
But
so what happened?
I cleaned it up. No one ever knew. We had this really intense pesticide, so I just sprayed that all over.
Oh, and it overtook all the
overpowered
smells.
beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever haze people that worked at McDonald's? Because the thing we did, this is a basic ass thing that we did. We would tell new recruits of McDonald's that our floors were so old that you couldn't use bubbles, so that we would tell them to get mop water with the bubbles, and then they would have to take the bubbles out. So they would sit there and scoop the bubbles out for
That's
like
hilarious.
Small town
2
life.
minutes. Oh, it was great. It was great.
Actually, our McDonald's, I tell the story about us getting, and we're getting stoned and whatever.
Yeah.
But our McDonald's, like, we were killing it. Like, we would have corporate. Our store was, like, the most profitable.
I know, you guys were so proud.
Everyone was having a good fucking time.
Yeah, it was like a
Morale was
huge
up.
team. Like, we wouldn't, like, do that, you know what I mean? Because, like...
So the whole point of the movie Waiting holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah.
And lifting morale.
And
I've never seen that movie.
I can't believe you haven't seen that.
I can't believe you haven't seen that movie. That's your homework assignment before next time.
That's
to
a
watch
great
Waiting
movie
and give
with
us your
food.
report back.
Dude, we went, like, 2 weeks doing HBO. So it's like the people would have their food at the window before they even paid. So, like...
You had a fast ticket time.
Dude, like, the cars would roll up and then just roll away. Roll up, roll away. Like, we had
it
the
is
food up
definitely
there.
not like that at that McDonald's
not
anymore.
at all.
I swear to God, every time that we go there, I have to, like, go back and get something that they've fucked up or forgotten.
It's, like, sad to me that, like, I was overlooking the whole, like, industrial side to McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, the industrial agriculture side to it.
Okay.
And as, like, in high school, I worked there, and I was just like, wow, this is cooking. You know, I like to cook, and it's, like, fast-paced. It really, like, helped me learn, like, a lot about management, like, working with other people.
Yeah.
And... it was good, but like just slinging that beef out like that and all those that terrible food, it's just insane.
I worked on grills sometimes, but mostly I was in drive-thru on headset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Headset life.
I could do all that shit. Like I would be.
I know some of the guys that I worked
with.
I know some of the guys that I worked with in the kitchen. Like they would be on headset like late at night.
Yeah, I could take money. Be on the headset. I'd literally run the whole fucking thing, like from 10 o'clock to midnight or something.
Yeah.
You know?
I one time I was in drive-thru at McDonald's, and I had the headset on, and I was like, "Fuck it, today I'm doing impressions." So I would be like, "Thank you for choosing McDonald's. It's Ozzy Osbourne here." And, like, people were losing their shit and laughing and stuff. It was a blast.
You grew up in, like, the smallest of small towns.
No
so
shit, 6,000
you had
people,
to do
yeah.
something to entertain yourself. There was
Incredibly
nothing to fucking
boring,
do in that town.
Incredibly sad and
We did
boring.
do like Australian accents and like British accents. We'd do like accents, you know.
Yeah, it's fun. It's hilarious.
And if anyone
to do.
said anything, we'd just be like, you gotta like commit.
Yep, you're committing in that moment.
You gotta be from Britain.
Yep, all of a sudden you're from
fucking South Wales now. You
So
know?
it's like method acting.
Yeah, it kind of forces you into method acting because it's like, hey,
You gotta be in
the
it to
person
win it.
called you out. Like, you're not British, and you're like, well, if I say no, then I'm gonna look like the fool. But if I can play this off, maybe they'll question it. You know,
I'd be like, "You're right, you wanker. Piss off."
And then you
I don't
do
think corporate
this.
would like that.
You do this, and they think
Probably
that
not.
you're just giving them the peace sign, and they're totally oblivious. I did the
peace,
because that's not peace in Britain. That's like the middle finger.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
I would only ever really do
It's
like
like the
southern
swastika.
accents.
Southern?
Yeah.
I do like a classy southern accent.
Like how?
Like a Southern Belle kind of accent.
Okay.
Like a Southern gentleman kind of
Can we
accent.
hear
With
it?
a fan?
Yeah, like Gone with
Like
the
a
Wind
hand
style
fan?
accent. Yeah, I like that kind.
Can we hear it?
No, my natural Southern accent when it comes out is like Central Indiana Southern accent. So it's not like I don't sound like a lady.
I loved that meme earlier. We're not in the South, so why are we like this?
Oh yeah, this Indiana state motto. We're not in the South, so why are we like this?
Totally accurate.
It's pretty awesome.
Can you
I love
guys
it.
do any like actual voice impersonations of actors or actresses or anything? We were just kind of like on the cusp of that. I figured we could.
I don't know. We'd always try to do like Arnold, right? Let's try to do Arnold.
Arnold's pretty good. I don't do a good Arnold, admittedly, but Brando has the
does
best
a pretty good
Arnold.
one when he's talking about like when he's smoking meats. It's
Going
weird.
to smoke the meats. Nine. You know?
Without going to smoke the meats.
Yeah,
I'm the governor of California.
What I want to do is I want to do Cooking with Sly, because he also does a good Sylvester Stallone. So I want Brandon to do a Cooking with Sly segment where when he's on his grill, he brings his mobile mic setup out and just like talks as Sly about the meat cooking process.
This is not the first time you've mentioned
I'm gonna
this.
make it fucking happen. I'm like obsessed with this
Really
idea.
obsessed with this idea.
And then if we need to give Sly a break, he goes on vacation and Arnie sneaks over to his house and grills on his shit, and that's funny.
Oh, man.
Because then there's like this whole like he's sneaking around
Yeah.
Sly's house thing.
Well, maybe that can be an exclusive for our Patreon.
Ooh, I like that. You can go to patreon.com/journey into comics. $1 gets you early access. $3 gets you exclusive content and early access. That means you're getting podcasts as soon as we're done editing them. That's all I have. All the shows on the network right there. Moving on. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's move ourselves back a minute to dinner. As a warm-up and a precursor to Turkey Day, this is Friendsgiving. What did you guys think about this meal? I thought it was very well balanced.
I was missing the corn.
Okay.
I would like to have some greens with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not very healthy people.
No.
We don't really mess with greens.
It's usually
Mustard
just
greens.
We had a whole segment that was basically just
Spinach?
cheese.
Just cheese.
God, that was a whole episode, yeah.
Cheese
Yeah.
is delicious.
Well, yeah, of course it is. All right, that'll be our homework assignment for next time.
A
Is to
greens episode?
Make just healthy vegetable options.
Oh, man, I have some great healthy vegetable options. I love to do just like asparagus on a cookie sheet, a little bit of olive
I
oil
thought about
dusted
making
with some
asparagus
sea
tonight.
salt. Bake that shit.
I was gonna make
Done.
bacon wrapped asparagus tonight.
There was this amazing recipe I saw on Facebook. It was a tempura wrapped avocado roll or tempura fried
Ooh,
avocado
goddamn.
roll.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good.
You know, since the last time we've done a Foodies, we didn't talk about this last time. We went to Umi.
We did go to Umi.
Yeah, and I had that fucking hero roll. Oh man, it was a special
prime rib on it or something.
No,
That was the Philly
Okay.
roll. That had the meat on it.
The hero was chef's special of the day.
Okay.
And it had like a shrimp tempura, a fresh tuna on the top with like eel
it have
sauce,
mango in it, too?
mango, avocado, a little bit of jalapeno, and then there was like a spicy mayo on top. It was nuts.
That was
Yeah,
good.
they're pretty. Those guys are cool in there.
Yeah.
They really. I used to actually roll sushi before it was Umi. It was Amore, and I rolled sushi there.
Interesting. How was the roll? I've never been able to do that. I feel like it's a kind of a hard process to learn.
It's all
I've
about
never
the
tried.
rice, my man. You just gotta.
The rice has got to
have,
be
like-
nice and sticky.
Yeah, and it's delicate. You know, you just gotta have like a nice technique.
Okay.
Smooth and delicate.
Sweet.
You know, Sarah and I were talking yesterday, actually, about how after Thanksgiving, we want to kind of get over the holiday food burnout of what we're all going to be experiencing with leftovers and whatnot.
God, yeah.
We thought it would be fun to make our take on what I always get at Umi, which is the baked lobster roll.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bunch of California rolls with eel sauce and lobster on top and like this creamy mayo. And it's fucking phenomenal. And they bake it so it's hot. It's really, really good. And instead of rolling sushi rolls, because we don't know how to fucking do that, we thought, why don't we just make it into like a casserole and make like some kind of rice, seafood, eel sauce.
Interesting.
Well, I can roll sushi.
Oh, that and we. You know what's weird?
Well,
I think
maybe
we have.
we should just make a sushi episode.
Oh my gosh, we should totally do a sushi episode. You could teach us how to do it. We could like create our own sushi rolls.
I'm
So
down.
then we can make a little video
I'm
about
down.
it.
I'll teach you, but I'm no teacher.
Well, I understand.
Then we should make for
I
interesting
understand that.
exclusive content for our Patreon.
Yeah.
For how long did you wrap sushi or make sushi there?
Probably like, I don't know, 8 months. But I also did other stuff too.
I was so disappointed when you worked at that place, and then you told me that the very expensive or lobster
God.
ravioli was from
Gordon's.
like GFS.
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Well, we
I
made
was
the
like, Jesse, you
the
gotta make
lobster
this
bisque though.
Oh, it's so fucking
because
good.
what the sauce for that was?
Yeah, the sauce.
We
was
made
where it was at.
Alfredo sauce. Like we had a hot table with like hotel pans of Alfredo sauce. We'd make it,
right, just
per
like a
day.
base sauce.
Lobster bisque on the weekend and stuff, and that lobster bisque, man.
Lobster bisque is my
boy.
favorite soup.
The gnarlier,
It's delicious.
The gnarlier your lobster stock is, the better.
Yeah?
Like, dude, one time I pulled out a freaking lobster because we'd buy like lobster heads and like shells for lobster bisque.
Okay.
And I pulled out a lobster, man. The thing, if it was a whole lobster, it would have to weigh like 5 to 7 pounds.
Damn.
It was huge.
Beast.
Like, it was not right. It was like...
It was not right.
Aren't lobsters supposed to be like the insects of the sea?
Yeah. So I think it like got here from maybe Fukushima.
Okay.
Oh, that's sad.
It was mutated.
Made the
to,
trip
like,
over.
We should have studied it before we ate it.
Yeah, that's all still happening, by the way.
I know.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
That's
Thanks
why I
for
said.
Thanks for the roughly reminder.
We had that huge lobster, though. There's benefits to it.
I just want to go back to the lobster roll and say it's not really sushi, though.
Well, there's California rolls in it.
But it's baked, so it's not the essence of sushi. Sushi should be a cold
Well, I don't give a
fish.
fuck, mate. I don't
right?
care. It tasted delicious.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, no, I know it's delicious.
If you don't want to call it sushi, don't call
like
it sushi.
Americans
Don't call it lobster casserole.
pretty much bastardize everything.
That's true.
So, like, when you're in America, sushi is like that. But if you go to, like, Japan and stuff, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get, like...
baked anything.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
You know what else we had at Umi, which was really good, was the sweet potato roll.
Yes.
That was so good. They drizzled caramel sauce over it.
So flavorful.
Yeah, it was delicious.
The dessert of sushi.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to make that avocado tuna tempura or whatever.
Okay. I don't think that's hard, right? It's not too difficult.
So do you guys want to roll, like, inside-out rolls? We could do tempura, but we have to have, like, a bunch of oil and, like, a huge pot.
We
I
don't
want the
have
goddamn baked lobster.
Baked lobster?
Yeah, I want the
We can
baked
do
lobster
that.
rolls. They're California rolls
Definitely.
with the lobster on top. But we can also have a tempura appetizer. Lauren.
Okay.
Tempura.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the episode I do nothing.
Hey, do you guys
for
know how to
cook-wise.
tempura? No? Anybody?
Wait, what?
Do you know how to make, like, the tempura batter? Like, in...
Well, what is it? What is it? I
Not
feel
unless
like
Egg and
from a
panko,
package.
right? It's egg and panko.
No, it's panko. Tempura
no.
is different.
No.
Tempura is...
Tempura is that really thin.
Oh, the super
Crisp.
crispy.
Cornstarch?
Really?
Cornstarch, and then, like, you can use... it. You can do different stuff, but... like, 00 flour, maybe?
Okay.
And then, it's no egg. It's soda water.
Yeah,
Really?
That's right.
Super interesting.
That's what makes it so, like...
Fluffy and crisp at the same time.
Carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm.
CO2.
Quite right.
CO2. I use CO2 at work.
Yeah, you do that at work. We'll continue on. So I want to know, you said, you had funny stories when you were younger as a kid doing like McDonald's work. What are some of the crazier stories you have as your life in the culinary world when you were like line cook and moving your way up the ranks and then that? Is there anything notable that you can reference back to?
Like, what do you mean?
Well,
Like,
you've worked at some pretty cool places, and you probably have some interesting experiences that would be of note.
yeah. Well,
Didn't you work at, what was it?
I worked
Station 20.
in Crown Point. Okay, I was going to tell a story about that place.
Whoa, go for it.
Okay, so this is kind of like just shows like the dark side of the food industry, really.
Ooh, I love it.
Juicy.
I know.
This is the scoop.
So I'm just like a young gun,
Okay.
And I'm just like working hard, trying to, just make some money, build
Yeah.
skill, technique, or whatever.
Learn all you can, become
Yeah.
a sponge.
So, I'm working my ass off on the line in a brand new restaurant. You know, it was like a couple $1,000,000. There's like TVs at every booth. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a really nice sports bar. And
2 floors,
and they have a really nice outdoor
balcony.
Oh yeah, like a patio on a
you
balcony.
Don't have any other place in Northwest Indiana that has that. Essentially.
Yeah, it's interesting. That place was actually a conservative cafe before, and on the wall inside the restaurant, it said like, "Beat your children."
I remember
Do you
conservative
remember something
cafe.
like that?
I do. That was a weird place.
It
I
was.
think I only went there once.
I don't think I ever went there. I only went there when it was what was it? Station
21.
Yeah, Station
still
21.
is.
Station 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still there.
So, okay, anywho, I'm a young gun. I'm working, and there's a chef and a sous chef, and then us cooks, you know.
Okay.
The sous chef, like, was doing cocaine off the lowboy, like, the fridge door.
Oh my god.
Like,
I wasn't
during,
expecting the story
in the
to turn this
middle of service.
Whoa.
And we have, like, a window, so we have a galley kitchen.
Okay.
And, like, we just put the food up in the window.
Yep.
And
Expediter takes it.
Well, actually, the middle would expedite.
Okay.
Because the people up front of the house were just, they couldn't do it for some reason.
Okay.
So we'd like organize it for them, but that's beside the point. Dude's doing cocaine off the
yeah, that's definitely
off
besides
the low
the
boy,
point.
off the low boy, and like 2 days later, I was sous chef.
I was actually gonna say, weren't you the sous chef at Station 21? And you kind of told me how that happened.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow,
I have intuition. I knew your
weird
internal.
So that's the weirdest
questions.
promotion you've ever had? Because like you watched your promotion happen in real time moment.
Yeah, I've always kind of been like, I thought I was getting in trouble when they were giving me the promotion.
Oh yeah, anytime you get called into something, the anxiety
Teacher's
sets in
office.
of like, yes,
Yeah.
that shit's real.
Mm-hmm.
It is real.
Happened to me at Horseshoe too. Like I got awarded for like being like perfect attendance for 60 days or something. And I thought I was in trouble.
Yeah, so I was. You always got to be on your toes, you know.
Was that your first experience as a sous chef at that moment?
Yeah.
So you're thrust right into. I mean, you're essentially second in command of the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, when chef was gone, I was chef. You know.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. How did that experience like change you? Being a chef and experiencing, because I feel like maybe you can shed some more light on this. I feel like the most dirty drama TV all involves chefs. Like if you watch any of the cooking shows like Hell's Kitchen or whatever, it is super competitive and cutthroat.
Oh, yeah.
Top
And
Chef.
I feel like
I love
that
Top
it is such a almost and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here. It's almost like a toxic thing. That it's a necessity, but I feel like there's maybe some darkness that is like a part of that.
There definitely, because it's just, if you think about how chefs work, it's not healthy for a human body to do that. It makes you crazy. I feel like you need more than just the moonlight in your life, you know?
Gotcha, yeah.
So it just has its effect on people biochemically, probably, and then it just makes them kind of go closer to being, you know, like you were saying, like full of drama and a little bit on edge, or like trying to like get one over, you know. It's just like it
I
is a
feel
very
like
competitive.
Chefs have that chef ego about them.
I know. I don't know. I definitely sometimes do, but I'm like humble too, I think.
I think you've gotten better since you've been out of that world for a little while.
Yeah.
That world can wrap you up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I worked at last restaurant I worked at was Royster
in Chicago.
Yeah.
You worked there?
Yeah.
My friend Nick, that my friend Bridget introduced me to, he went there when he was in Chicago. I remember
to eat?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He got like the chicken, like the
the fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's like so delicious. He should have got the duck
Yeah,
ragu.
that's a fancy
Ooh, that sounds
restaurant.
delicious.
That shit is so good. I used to make I used to make pasta by hand there. Amongst other things. I made the lasagna from
running it through the roller and from scratch. That's amazing. Would you pinch your own tortellinis?
Definitely taught you how to make great pasta.
Chef Ackett's worked. I worked on the chef's table they have down there.
Okay.
And Chef Ackett's would come down and work right next to me. When we opened. Because I helped Royster open.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting working with everyone. It was like working with culinary surgeons.
So, opening a restaurant is probably like you have to go in before the official launch and everything and learn the menu.
Oh, yeah, I carried in all the, $1,000. I actually was the one who, I hand washed all these expensive diningware.
Really?
Well, I mean, it was a team effort, obviously, but I
were part
washed
of the team.
A lot of expensive dishes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's
like
and they don't want you to
lose a paycheck.
They don't want you to drop a spoon. If you drop a spoon,
damn,
it's over.
I would not do good there, Mr. Klutz-a-lot. I'd drop everything.
Calamity Nate.
Oh man.
I can't tell you how many times I dropped the trays of meat at McDonald's. Granted, they were covered in grease.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Those are the UHV or something.
It's
like an oven that you keep.
Yeah.
It's in a
plastic tray that you just slide out.
You gotta be giving everybody cancer. Just the technique of holding the meat, not the meat
itself. No, but the technique of
the meat has some shit, but.
Did you guys ever find any hacks when you worked at McDonald's? That
Oh
were
my god! Yeah.
I feel like the odd man out because I worked at Dairy Queen.
Well, you can still talk about the experience.
Ice cream? What's the coolest sundae?
The coolest sundae was the S'more Galore Parfait. It was my fucking jam, and they got rid of it. But it was a gigantic parfait. It had vanilla ice cream and then a layer of hot fudge and then a layer of marshmallow and then a layer of graham cracker crumble. And then it would just repeated itself 2 more times. And then,
just
graham cracker and marshmallow.
Abyss of delicious.
It was my favorite. And my other favorite thing from Dairy Queen, which I feel is of note, is the purple Star Kisses.
Okay.
They're grape Star Kisses, and they don't sell them at the Dairy Queen where I live.
Oh, is it like an ice cream?
It's like an ice cream treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not real ice cream. It doesn't have milk in it. It's like some kind of frozen treat, like a popsicle of sorts. But they don't have the purple ones, and that was my favorite. And then my sister, two of my sisters currently work at this Dairy Queen together, which I'm sure they love. And they were working the other day, and I was talking to my sister Sam, and she's like, well, Crown Point has the purple Star Kiss ones, and we don't order them anymore because you have to get them in bulk, and then no one eats them. So I found out they have them in Crown Point. Long story short.
My neighbor, Mrs. H. She owns that place.
I remember her. She was my employer, and I don't think she liked me. Because I had pink hair.
You worked at the Lowell Dairy Queen?
Yeah, I worked at the Lowell Dairy Queen for 4 months, maybe, and then I quit. And the manager or whatever at the time when I quit, because they were saying that they didn't like that I had pink hair and that I was all punk rocky and whatever, and the women didn't like me, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. Kind of hurt my feelings, but I decided that I wanted to quit, and I just walked out. And the manager Keith was just like, "If you want to get taken off the schedule, just let me know." I was like, "I do. Peace out." And that was it.
Yeah, I didn't leave McDonald's on very good terms.
Does one ever leave a fast food job on very good terms?
I want to hear it. How did you exit your McDonald's exploitation?
Well. At the time, I was living in Lowell with my dad.
Okay.
And my sister Emily had kind of started me down a bad path.
Okay.
And I started missing a lot of work at Lowell.
Okay.
Every Saturday and Sunday morning. I would just kind of just not show up to work.
Coincidence, Friday and Saturday, classic party nights.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Probably. Eventually, I just moved in with my mom at Griffith because I was going to lose my job at the little McDonald's anyway. So I just moved in with her, and I graduated from Griffith in 2009.
Said peace out, lol.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wish I could say peace out, lol. I did for a hot minute, but then I ended up back there.
My McDonald's ended both times badly because they sucked at scheduling. The first time I asked for Valentine's Day off, I was like 16, hot shit, had a girlfriend, wanted to take her to do a thing. They didn't give it to me off, so I was like, fuck you, I quit. And I just quit. And then they hired me back like a couple years later, and it was a different experience. And I decided one day that I was just done with McDonald's, maybe done with the food industry altogether, So I just didn't go back in on my break. I just left and never came back. Except for I left my fucking coat in the basement. So later that night I had to go back to McDonald's.
With your tail between your legs.
Well, no, because I knew the night manager, much like your story with your McDonald's. Our McDonald's managers were all partiers, and that's the life they led.
Yeah. Who was your manager at the time?
I can't really divulge any of the names of the people that I worked with. We could talk about this after the podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about this off air. Yeah, but I went back in and got my coat, and I'm like, "Hey, Heidi," and she's like, "I heard you quit," and I was like, "Yeah, but I fucking forgot my coat," and she just started laughing at me. She thought it was hilarious, and she's like, "You should, you like cappuccino, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "I didn't tell you this, but there's an extra one that's not in the inventory sitting on the ground down there," and I was like, "Really?" So I took a bag of cappuccino mix with me. It was awesome. I just poured water in with it, and at my next job, I had cappuccinos for like 6 months. It was awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tight.
McDonald's was crazy. That was the wild,
they have the
wild
best
west.
Coke.
Agreed. And you
Nate
know what?
is very adamant that the Hoopston McDonald's has the best Coke on the planet.
It
And
is.
I disagree.
No. Compared to what? Compared to what? Because the Hoopston McDonald's, in my opinion, it's something about their like tank for Coke is a fucking massive silver
I feel like there's never enough syrup in it.
No, it's
Doesn't it all come down to the McCarb though?
What is that?
It's like the carbonation stuff that they put in.
Yeah.
It all comes down to basically it all comes down to who's refilling that and when they're refilling it. Because if they're not doing it, then it's going to taste like shit. But if they're on top of it, then it's going to taste a lot better.
Yeah. And I think that my manager was very anal about that and made
Well,
sure
I
that
think
it was
like
always...
a company comes actually to like most McDonald's because they have the big, huge CO2 tank.
Yeah, you gotta fill
and
it.
Like a dude with a truck comes.
He has to come out there and like fill it up himself.
Like I think just that it always has like a full tank,
Yeah, McDonald's
it's probably like logistics
does have the best
related.
Coke. Just depends on where you get it.
It's the McCarb. That's what it's called.
The McCarb.
I love that.
Dairy Queen did not have very good Pepsi.
Mm.
It was always very flat.
Yeah.
And no one ever changed the bags. And the lines were never, sterilized. And I was, a stickler.
I'm so glad that McDonald's has Dr. Pepper now. They didn't used to.
Oh.
Did they have Mr. Pibb?
No, they didn't.
Dairy Queen has Mr. Pibb.
Mm.
When I worked at McDonald's, it was basically just
Or no KFC.
Mountain Dew, Coke, Diet Coke, like an orange soda, a lemonade, a Powerade.
I feel like we're just doing advertisement for McDonald's and all of these terrible soft drink companies right now. Fuck all you.
As I just drink some
You
Pepsi.
suck.
Yeah, we are Foodies Watching Movies. I went back for a second helping and got myself another one of the sliders.
snack break.
Well, no, I actually had to go turn the heat off because it was obnoxiously loud.
Yeah, I heard it.
In the headphones. So while you guys were conversing, I snuck away for a second. I was like, man, that sandwich looked really fucking good. I'm going to get one for myself right now. And then it was really messy, and I felt like I made a huge mistake. So, not because it tasted bad. It tastes amazing, but, it's messy.
Sliders, dude. You got one bite.
We should put some sea salt on those sweet potato fries.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to have a honey mustard to dip it in, but it wasn't good. We had to throw it out.
So I keep asking you guys about what movie we're watching, and then we're not watching one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching Waiting for the next time. You guys should watch Get Out.
Yeah, Lauren has been asking us to see.
So you're deciding that we should just watch it and then we'll review it next time, and you're not going to be here for our experience because that movie is actually marred in controversy now.
Yeah, because it got nominated. It got nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Comedy, not for Best Drama or Best
Thriller or whatever category.
Even though there isn't a Best Thriller category.
Weird. That is weird.
It could maybe win like an MTV Movie Award. I don't know if the MTV Movie Awards...
Okay, without spoiling anything, is there any reason for them to constitute this as a comedy? I mean, is there any basis for this argument?
Somewhat. I mean, there are some parts that are funny.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be funny.
Is Forrest Gump a comedy?
But it's also like got very dark themes behind it.
Okay. Totally.
So
Forrest
I
Gump
mean,
is not a comedy.
I feel
See,
like it
that's what I'm
should.
saying.
I feel like honestly, they should probably just not even nominate it for anything until the Oscars, and then they should nominate it for Best Picture.
Okay. Well, it probably will get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit either the categories for the Golden Globes. Like they split it up between comedy and drama, and it doesn't win for either of those. So I just think it should wait until the Oscars and get nominated for Best Picture. And if it wins, it wins, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It is very good. You said you've seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Thank you for saving us from spoilers. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I love that is a thing that I've been really fortunate with. For most major movies, like the Saw movie, I think I didn't see Saw 1 until Saw 2 came out. And someone's like, we should go see Saw 2. And I was like, let me go watch Saw 1. And like, luckily in that 1 year, no one had spoiled the crazy twist of that movie with Jigsaw. So like, I'm also just grateful right now you guys didn't like go, oh, that really crazy whatever that happens at the wherever. I don't know when the twist is. So, I'm just
all I'm going to say is that there really can't be a sequel.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, this will probably be a standalone movie.
Okay. Trying to think about movies I am watching or want to watch.
Well, we did just go and see the Justice League movie yesterday.
Yes. Oh my God.
Talk about that for a minute.
It was.
Have you guys seen it yet?
No.
Maybe we should keep this spoiler free then.
Well, we can. At some point, we're going to need to take a commercial break. I think AP is going to come interrupt our podcast and riff on what's going on in the wild world of Colorado. I don't know when we want to do that. If we want to hold off Justice League talk till after or before.
That's fine. We can do that.
Wherever
we can circle back to it later.
Okay, so you said you had one thing you wanted to do today. It's like holiday movies, or maybe it wasn't holiday movies. That was mine.
You were asking me if there were any kind of holiday movies that we could talk about for Thanksgiving, because all the movies that you were suggesting are all like kind of more Christmassy themed.
Damn.
And I said, well, the only Thanksgiving movie that I know of is one of my favorite movies, actually. It's called What's Cooking. Have you ever seen it?
It came out in 2000.
It's such a great movie. I love it so much. And my mom and I reference this movie every year when we cook Thanksgiving together, because we always have Thanksgiving together.
I don't know. I'm thinking John Candy right now.
You're thinking Trains,
Planes, and Automobiles. Came out 30 years ago. The holiday season in 87 was Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
87.
Yeah, wild, right?
87 produced a lot of really good movies.
According to this list you found, and I'm not... I need to go on Wikipedia and double confirm, but it said 3,000 movies came out in 1987.
Let me preface by saying that yesterday we were talking about holiday movies, and I said, what's cooking? But Nate had said Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I was like, yeah, that's a holiday. I thought that was more of a Christmassy movie. And then we looked it up, and we decided to look at all the movies that came out in 1987.
Yeah.
And there was 3,400 titles that came up when I Googled it under this one website. I can't remember. But there was a lot of really great movies that came out in that year.
I bet. I almost came out in that year.
I was born in that year.
I did. The Brave Little Toaster came out in 87.
That was a good movie.
Yes, it was.
The Witches of Eastwick came out in 87. That's one of my favorite movies.
Untouchables came out in 87 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot. That list is crazy long.
I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 1990.
On the dot, so you're the same age as my sister. Good to know.
Youngin.
But 90s kids, man, they had some of like the best TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
obviously,
like maybe the movies suffered a little because CGI was starting to rear its head, and some of those movies don't stand the test of time because the CGI.
See, I feel like being born in 1987, we grew up with the best TV for
You know
kids.
what's crazy though? Like when you observe that in the time, it's like amazing.
Yeah.
But now your perspective changes and you rewatch it and it's not the same.
You know,
because you it's like your brain's
Your
trained.
adult perspective is different.
Plus, you've been jaded by life. You've seen some shit.
Right, and as a 30-year-old woman, I'm starting to relate more to the adult characters in these shows as opposed to the children. Like I was talking about the other day.
Just yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
I was talking about this yesterday. I was like, yeah, I feel like Ollie and I were watching The Little Mermaid, and I was like relating to King Triton. Like, yeah, you're 16, bitch. You ain't getting married. What are you thinking? That's when you know you've reached adulthood, and your heart is done.
Well,
I could tangent this into wrestling, journey into wrestling. I'm not going to.
Oh, please don't.
Because
No.
I will say that the Attitude Era of wrestling,
Oh, but he's gonna
if you go back and watch that, it doesn't hold up the same as like when we were kids. Like it was exciting, but it is legitimately some smutty bullshit that they had on TV in the mid 90s. Like
Yeah,
for
there
real.
was some shit, and then there was
Yeah,
some shit on in the 90s. But
that-
there was
that-
some great shit too.
That shit would not pass now, but there was some great shit too. Yeah.
Man, I haven't been watching any TV at all. No movies, no TV.
No movies,
We just finished Stranger Things season 2.
No
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
You didn't watch it yet?
If you're on the Journey into Comics Network, you've heard our special on Monday a couple days ago.
Mhm.
Even though it's in tomorrow for us in real time.
Time traveling.
Time travel. Doodle 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 doodle.
Anyway.
I don't know what that was about, but should we take our quick commercial break? Did you need to? All right, so folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. AP's going to come in and food it up. He's going to do another Field RePuhrt. Lauren is going to be leaving for this episode. She's got some other engagements she's going to. So, Lauren, thank you so much for being on today's episode of
Thanks for
Foodies.
being
Thank
here,
you.
Thanks,
for having
Lauren.
me.
It's awesome
And do
as
your
always.
homework.
Yep,
Okay.
waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Watch Waiting.
Are you guys gonna watch Get Out, or do you want to wait for me and AP?
Has AP seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, why don't we just watch it and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, we'll do that for 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he should be back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll watch
2
it and
weeks.
then we'll all report back after we've done our homework.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, stick around for the Field RePuhrt, and we will see you guys shortly.
Hey there, Foodies family, and welcome to another road segment of Foodies Watching Movies. My name is Andrew Poor, and I want to thank Nate, Veronica, and Lauren for throwing me the ball and holding down the fort while I am away in Colorado for work. Hopefully this will be the last Foodies Watching Movies that I will be unable to attend in person, but I'm still thankful I get to do these segments and get to be somewhat a part of each episode. So, I know a lot of the Journey to the Comics Network team went and saw Justice League over the weekend, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do that. I do have plans to see it Wednesday when I'll be back, so I'm looking forward to that. But I did get to see, since it came out, was Murder on the Orient Express, which is the Kenneth Branagh film based on the Agatha Christie book. What I enjoyed about that movie, because I've never read any Agatha Christie novels, so I don't know how it compares to the book, but I really enjoyed the movie. It's been a while since I've actually seen like a detective novel, or a detective movie, I should say. And I like Kenneth Branagh films. The last movie that I think I saw that he directed probably was Thor, which was very Shakespearean and very dramatic, which was also a lot like what Murder on the Orient Express was. And for those of you who don't know who Kenneth Branagh is, he played Gilderoy Lockhart in the Harry Potter films, or I guess just one of the films. But Murder on the Orient Express is interesting because it had an all-star cast, and it involves a bunch of people, like well-to-do, rich people on a train going to London, or getting to London somehow from Istanbul or somewhere in the Middle East. And it starts very interesting. It starts on like the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, and you get to kind of understand who this Hercule Poirot, French-sounding name, with the most fantastical mustache I've ever seen, that I'm most likely sure that Kenneth Branagh had that put on his face every day. And it's actually funny, at one point in the movie when they wake him up in the middle of the night, he has a interesting, almost like a mustache guard to prevent it from getting out of place while he sleeps. This little plastic covering. It was very interesting looking, but I don't know if that's historically accurate or just something to be a little funny bit in the middle of the movie, but it was interesting. I knew pretty much every actor in this movie from something else. I know you had Daisy Ridley of Star Wars fame. You had Willem Dafoe from a ton of stuff. You had Kenneth Branagh, obviously. You had Johnny Depp. You had Dame Judi Dench. You had Lamar Odom Jr., who hasn't really done a whole lot of movies, but he just got off a stellar run with the Broadway cast of Hamilton. You had Josh Gad. You had... I'm trying to think who else. A couple other familiar faces. I can't really think of their names offhand right now. But yeah, it was a very stellar cast and very well done effects, and doing the train looked fantastic, and the detail. I'm going to be a little spoily, but like when the avalanche comes to kind of derail the train a little bit, that looked very good. Camera work was a little interesting. It left some to be desired because the way it was shot, all of like some of the walking scenes with people walking along the train, they decided to shoot it from the outside of the train, which I guess makes sense because they probably built a tangible train cars, and you can't really fit a good camera to follow them from the side, so they shot through the windows, which is kind of interesting because there's a lot of dead space where they're just showing outside of the train where they're walking either between windows, between cars, so it was a little weird. Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer's another one that was in the movie. She had a big role and got a lot of work to do. And one thing that I always find interesting about movies that have these big stellar casts as opposed to a relatively unknown cast is that sometimes you can't see past the actor to see their role. And I think one for me, the thing that stuck out a lot was Willem Dafoe, because Willem Dafoe was such a big personality, and he was playing an Austrian, so he had the accent, and he had just that look about him and the voice, and I was just like, why is Willem Dafoe doing this? And I couldn't see past Willem Dafoe playing this character, then I didn't get absorbed in the character. I know that can happen with some bigger name actors who do a lot of movies, like every time Nicolas Cage does a movie, it's always Nicolas Cage as someone. But it's always his personality shining through over the character. So that was another little takeaway. But everyone else really immersed in their role. Daisy Ridley did a good job, and Kenneth Branagh really was a whole other person in this role. But yeah, it was overall, I really enjoyed the movie. Yeah, I have to see. I think I'm going to read the book, or at least listen to the audiobook to kind of see how true it was to the story. I talked to one of my friends who had read the book and seen the movie, and he said that it followed the plot for the most part. There's a few things that were different, but he said the personality of the Kenneth Branagh's Hercule Poirot or Poirot or whatever his name was pretty spot on from the when he read the book, which might have been a few years ago or longer, could have been a high school read. So that was, I think, an enjoyable movie, and I think I'd recommend someone maybe renting it if you had any interest in seeing that. They also kind of teased maybe a sequel to another Agatha Christie book, so I guess if that ends up happening, that would be interesting to see as well. But it probably wouldn't. But I'll kind of have to see. I'm definitely looking forward to Justice League, though that's definitely higher up on the list of movies that I'd like to see, but I like to see movies every so often anyway. And one thing that's always interesting to me about when I go to movies, and I don't know if this is true for our listeners or even for Nate, Veronica, and Lauren, if concessions like popcorn and a drink are a necessity for a movie or an optional thing, for me, I almost feel like I always have to have a drink in my hand or popcorn while I'm watching a movie. I've done it without, and I always feel like I get a little restless with my hands, and I know it's probably bad because you end up just eating a whole giant thing of popcorn with butter over the course of a movie, but I don't know, I always feel like it's like a necessity for when you see a movie in a theater, because it's not like I even eat popcorn I'm watching a movie at home or watching Netflix or something, but when you have that movie theater experience, I feel like popcorn and a concession is a part of that. I don't know if that's just something that's ingrained in your mind from doing it when you're little or from your early movie experiences, but it's definitely something I think worth commenting on. But I guess moving away from movies, one thing I got to try this week, I got to try 2 pretty popular Colorado food chains. So I got to try a burger place called Good Times Frozen Burgers, or Good Time Burgers and Frozen Custard, not frozen burgers. I think that even says fresh, never frozen. And it was interesting. It's a 24-hour burger joint. That's how all of them are. And Good Times, it's very flashy, very 80s coloring and menu. I only go through the drive-thru because it's more of a fast food place, so I didn't get to really see what the inside looked like. But it was a really nice burger and very filling, and I got the burger with cheese and bacon and just kind of melts in your mouth, and it was very delicious. And if you don't have that option and you're kind of driving through Colorado and you want something that's not typical, you don't want like a McDonald's or a Wendy's, and you want something that you're not going to see around here but still is quick and easy to get to, I would recommend Good Times. I didn't get to try their frozen custard. Maybe when I go back after the holiday, I'll get to try it again, since I flew back just the other day, or I guess a couple days ago by the time you're listening to it. So yeah, I'll have to try it when I go back. I go back the Monday after Thanksgiving, so that'll be fun for me. But I think I'm wrapping up my Colorado, and then I get to do a couple weeks in Utah, and then hopefully I'll be done traveling for a bit, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Another restaurant chain I got to try, which I got to try in downtown Golden, which is a very beautiful downtown area. Golden is also where the Coors Brewery is, which is a little outside of the downtown area, but it's very nice. It's very pet friendly. It's very open. And one thing that I never really thought about Colorado is that it's actually a very temperate climate. The whole time I was there this past week into the weekend, it was in the 60s compared to like the Chicago area where it was in the 30s. So definitely a big change. And I got to walk around in a jeans and a t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt and be perfectly comfortable. So that definitely made it. But this Snarf's, which is this little sandwich shop, which I was thinking about this earlier before I recorded, like what it closer reminds you of, because it's not like a Subway, not like a Jimmy John's, maybe close to like a Penn Station or maybe like a Quiznos. It's a hot sandwich and it had peppers and cheese. I got the Italian sub and it was delicious. Only thing that I didn't like about it is it was a big sandwich because you can get like a 5-inch, a 7-inch, or a 12-inch, I think are the sandwich sizes. I got a 7-inch and I still cut it in half, and I had half of it for lunch, and then I had the other half the next day, and I had it cold, and it just doesn't hold up cold. Delicious hot with the peppers and everything kind of melts together, at least on that Italian sub, but cold, it's a little hard. But I think that's with any hot sandwich. When you eat it cold, it just doesn't, it's not the same. So maybe if I try it again while I'm there, maybe try reheating it in a microwave the next day if it regains some of its luster, but wasn't that great as a cold sandwich. But those were two very good sandwich places I had, and definitely so much better than what you can end up getting with airline food. If you eat food at a hotel, or not a hotel, an airport, or near an airport, you're going to paying an arm and a leg for just the common chains. Or like you can get McDonald's, but it's like $3 more than normal, or you can get a couple other things, and the alcohol's always more expensive if you want to drink with your dinner. So definitely, if you can eat before you get to the airport, which is just good advice for anyone traveling, just try not to eat at an airport. Sometimes, at least with me, sometimes when I fly out really early in the morning or get back really late, you're kind of stuck because nothing else is open. You're kind of stuck eating at the airport. So luckily, when you're traveling for work usually ends up paying for your meals, so it doesn't hurt you any, but it still kind of sucks to have to pay that much more for the same or worse food. But I guess those are my things from since the past episode, which has just been a ton of travel for me and a couple new restaurants and eating in a different climate. But yeah, I'll throw it back to those in the studio. So thanks again for putting up with me not being nearby, and I hope you guys, my listeners and my co-hosts, have a great week.
And we are back, folks. We've got a purring cat on the podcast now, too. I just heard that was awesome. It actually came through a little bit.
Cammy.
That was just the special report from AP. He's hopefully having a rapport. Hopefully he's having a good time out there in Colorado and enjoying all the splendor that is the what do they call that? The Mile High. But it's Denver.
Yeah.
Denver's the Mile High city. Yeah.
Colorado is beautiful. I love Colorado.
Colorado Springs, been there. Pikes Peak.
Cool. How is it?
It's beautiful.
I feel like every
It's
time
majestic.
I think about going to Colorado or being in Denver or something, I'm just like, I think I have too much anxiety to drive up a mountain. Nope.
It's very, very scary. My aunt used to live in Colorado, so my mom and my sister and I would go out there all the time and visit her, and we would have to drive from Denver. We'd fly into Denver, and then we would drive to Aspen, because she lived in this little place called Snowmass Village, and it was right outside of Aspen. And it was so beautiful, and like super hippie little town, And whenever we would drive, it was always so nerve-wracking being up that high, and there's no fucking guardrails, so it's like, and there's like warning signs for like,
Avalanches and stuff.
And rocks falling. And
crazy.
Yeah, it's not a great drive. A lot of sidewinding roads up mountains.
Ugh, that just creeps me out. So
it's very Stanley Kubrick.
Yesterday for us, it's been a couple days in podcasting time, but we just saw the latest hippest movie that's come out, and actually it works out beautifully. Journey into Comics didn't cover this week, so we get to talk about it here. You and I saw Justice League.
Yeah, we did.
I want to get your thoughts. We don't have to get into crazy spoilers or anything. Jesse, I know you haven't quite seen Justice League yet.
Are you going to be seeing it?
I probably won't see it, so you guys, if you could give me a synopsis, that'd be great.
Sure, we can run the movie down. It's actually really, the story's not too hardcore, but I just want to, before we get into that, what did you think of the movie, V?
Okay. Well.
Deep breath.
There's a lot that I could say about watching another superhero movie, but all in all, I thought it was a solid B. I'd give it a B. It was okay. I liked it. It was a lot more fun than Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel. Like, it was definitely a different vibe. I feel like I said it before, and I'm going to say it again like a broken record, but I feel like with the success of Guardians of the Galaxy and this the Marvel Universe taking this more humorous, lighter, tongue-in-cheek kind of direction that they've gone in, I feel like DC has kind of been behind on that, and they're seeing that this is what's working with people, so they were trying to do that a little bit more, and especially with introducing different characters that aren't typically like, super dark. Like when you think of Batman, you're like, oh shit, this is going to be a dark movie, but like The Flash,
Yeah, Ezra Miller did okay as the Flash. He was.
I wasn't sold on him
when
when it was announced that he was going to be the Flash. Like, we were all pretty disappointed because we all love Grant Gustin.
I'm pretty sure I openly resisted and said that Ezra Miller could never be the Flash, even though he was the Flash in the movie.
Having seen it, what do you think?
I'm going to eat crow and say he did a really good job. He wasn't my Barry Allen per se, but he did a good job as a Barry Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like
for this movie he worked.
He was the best part of the movie, in my
really?
opinion.
I would say Gal Gadot is the best part of that movie.
She was great.
She was the best part of the last movie,
I like
movie
her
too.
a lot.
Wonder Woman.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah,
she's beautiful, and she's so like sweet and motherly in these movies, and it gives it
and
like,
also so
a very
empowering.
Humanizing. Yeah,
She's
I loved
so
Gal Gadot in this
empowering.
movie. She's fantastic.
So, the movie is pretty. The storyline of the movie is pretty basic. Bruce has started to figure out that parademons are appearing more and more around Gotham, has something to do with fear. He realizes a bigger threat is coming. He can't quite
with
figure...
the death of Superman from the last movie.
Yeah, correct. He feels like there's something on the cusp that's coming. He's made the decision he's going to assemble a group of people who have special abilities.
So wait, are we doing a spoiler warning now?
We are going to... We should say that if you haven't watched the Justice League... This is going to be a little spoiler-laden, but really, you could kind of tell what this movie was going to be from trailers.
Honestly, the whole movie was just the trailer. If you've seen the trailer, then you saw the movie.
I mean, that is not wrong. Not to say that the movie's bad. I give it a solid B+.
I gave it a B.
I said that on my Facebook, and maybe a second watching or an extended cut or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can,
Sarah said it best yesterday, that she's just not sold on Batfleck.
Yeah, Batfleck was weird. He's good in some spots, and you can tell he lacks and is just awkward in other spots.
I don't even know what that is.
Ben Affleck
is
Batman now.
Oh, that's sucks.
He actually was really good in Batman versus Superman.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But in his debut in Batman versus Superman, he was actually surprisingly really good. Arguably one of the best parts of that movie, because the Batman he played in that movie was menacing and dark, and he was kind of old man Batman from the comics, which is like accurate.
But now they tried to change Ben Affleck
He's
and
all
make
funny.
him a little bit more funny and relatable, and in doing so, they made him super fucking awkward. Like, because Ben Affleck just is too much of a dork to be funny.
So Bruce figures out that there are these boxes, and he doesn't know what's in the boxes or what the purpose of the boxes are. But they do something, and he doesn't know that either. He's really clueless, but he has like a loose idea of what might be happening. So he decides he's going to start assembling this team. So he's got Wonder Woman on his team, and he's got...
Who is the best part of that movie?
Well, we'll talk about that. So he's got Wonder Woman on the team. He goes and tries to recruit Aquaman, which doesn't work so much. He goes to recruit the Flash, who Barry Allen like openly is just like, yes, I'll do it. No questions. I need friends. Like, I need friends. And, you know, I got struck by lightning and I need friends. And that's one thing I will say. They did a great job making Barry really comic relief in the movie, in such a way where his lines were just like hilarious moment after moment. And while
this movie
still
was just so formulaic. I feel
it was, because it was like the bad guy. Okay, these objects can't fall into the hands of the bad guys. Of course, the bad guys are going to get their hands on the object. So then now the next step is, well, the team has to be assembled. Well, there has to be a catalyst for the team to assemble. Well, there is a catalyst, but he's dead. Well, maybe let's resurrect that catalyst.
Superman.
And then Superman comes back, and it's all like ridiculous moment. Spoiler alert.
It's just all
So it's gone in
cheesy.
60 seconds with superheroes.
Kinda.
I feel like this
No, I'm just
movie
kidding.
I mean,
was
like
trying so hard to be like this big blockbuster, and it's never going to be a Marvel movie. Because they keep changing Batmans, because they keep changing the
There are
casting.
too many inconsistencies.
And you were just telling me yesterday that Ben Affleck doesn't want to do any more of these movies.
He might not do any more of these movies, and Matt Reeves, who is going to be the director of The Batman, which is the movie that will take place within the DC universe that they're creating, he's eyeing Jake Gyllenhaal to be Batman.
Which I think is fucking ridiculous.
It's even worse. It's an even worse casting.
I have no emotional investment in any of these fucking movies because of this reason.
Batman was always my favorite too.
Yeah, Batman's amazing, and
I liked the old one.
89 Batman is where it's at.
Keaton
Michelle
and Adam
Pfeiffer's
West.
Batman. Oh my
Like
God,
Keaton
come on.
and Adam
It was
West,
great.
and then of course you said Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman was.
Yeah, and Batman Returns.
She's doing it right.
That was a great movie.
Danny DeVito is the Penguin.
Oh man.
Another funny McDonald's tie-in. I was just reading in some article recently, which is weird, about how when Batman Returns came out, McDonald's had exclusive rights for the toys for Happy Meals, and everybody got outraged because Batman Returns was such a dark movie to be promoting to children
Could
in that
have been
age
rated
demographic.
R.
And Tim Burton was saying that the whole reason he didn't come back was because McDonald's thought his Batman movie wasn't as sellable as whomever took over. What was it, Joel Schumacher or something?
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
awful.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, he said that McDonald's was the whole reason why he didn't do another Batman movie.
Man, Ronald's killing the game.
But I will say, in the 90s, I did have those toys. I had the Catwoman mobile.
They also had the Penguin.
And I had the Penguin one.
The
duck.
rubber ducky.
Mm-hmm. And he had like a big spirally umbrella on the top of it.
Yep.
I had that toy. McDonald's had some cool Happy Meal toys.
I have a
in the
funny
90s.
story about Batman Returns. So it is a dark movie that a kid probably shouldn't watch, right?
I watched it as a child.
My
I did
parents wanted me not to be one of the kids that watched it and told me I shouldn't watch it, and I was not allowed to watch it. My grandparents took me to rent movies, and I
First thing you got.
totally sleight of hand, quick exchange, just fucking switched it
rented
out
Batman
on them
Returns.
and got Batman Returns, right? So I had Batman Returns. I get to the house, and they were so pissed. I remember the two movies I rented were Neverending Story
Good
and
movies.
Batman Returns.
Okay.
They said, they were like, fine. If you want to watch Batman Returns so bad, you have to sit through all of Neverending Story first, and you can't do anything but watch the movie. Like, be invested in the movie.
That's no problem. That's a good movie.
At that age, it wasn't that
That was a
hard,
sad
and I
movie.
think it was sad. And then I totally watched Batman Returns, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Batman
But the
Returns
thing is
was
that's
shit.
fucked up about that is they bought me all the toys from Batman Returns when I was a kid, before I had seen the movie.
So of course you're going to want to see the movie.
Of course I want to see the movie. Like,
Yeah,
they
it's like
played me.
marketed.
Did you get
to
in trouble
children.
for
That's
that?
pretty
Yeah, of
wrong.
course I did. They were very pissed off that I rented that movie, but
they
again,
let you watch it anyway.
They ended up letting me watch it reluctantly. My mom was just getting over surgery. She had some sort of thing in her wrists that where it was wrong, and she had this big surgery.
My grandparents actually had the original Batman, like in the puffy VHS, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'll still remember like the smell of it, you know, and then like the VHS. There's such
the sound and like the consistency of picking up a VHS and feeling the two reels wobble in there just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I had this thing about the texture on the top of the VHS, the part that flips.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like rub that and then just like flip it a little bit, just like because it just felt so weird. I just like yow. Weird. It looks weird. It actually looks really way worse than it probably
Well, we've
should.
been getting a lot of my old VHS tapes out because my mom bought me one of those converters to upload like VHS. I can't even talk VHS tapes onto my computer.
What does VHS stand for?
I don't fucking know.
Can we guess? I'm gonna guess.
To the Googles.
VHS.
Okay.
Video. I don't know.
Keep it going because I'm gonna look this up right now.
Video. I want to say like head, but that
I
doesn't
don't
make
know.
sense.
I just keep thinking about VCR, and it's
VCR is
not
video cassette recorder.
I did know that.
But VHS, that's...
I had to borrow a VCR from a neighbor to get these onto my computer.
Video home system.
Oh.
Hey, there you go.
That's cool.
This competed with Betamax, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit the United States the year my father graduated high school in 1977. But Japan got it a little bit under a year earlier in 76.
That means their computers are...
And they ran till like the early 90s, like 93 or 94, before they started slowing production down because DVD took over.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
DVD took over
and
until
then
2006.
HD took over, and then Blu-ray took over that.
HD DVDs, the worst
Streaming.
thing ever.
And now it's all streaming.
Yeah.
Man, we've really evolved in the past few years.
I don't know.
Think about it.
Technology's pretty freaky, man. I mean, I love that I have access to anything I could ever fucking want to know, essentially, in my pocket, in my phone, you know. And I just use it to look at cake recipes.
That's fine. I don't know. I remember living without a cell phone. I think everyone should have to live without a cell phone.
21 years of my life with no cell phone.
Yeah.
I've only had a cell phone for 9 years.
No, you're addicted to it.
No, I'm not. I wish you'd stop saying that.
I feel like your brain functions differently when you have something like that.
Correct.
Right.
Like it doesn't like have problem solving. Cuz you
Right, and it forces you to be in the now.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
and not sucked into your phone. Missing out on conversations or, you know, whatever.
I like that thing where people do this at dinner, where they make everybody have their phone flipped upside down in the
And
center of
whoever
the
turns
table.
it over has to pay the bill.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. You know, like indulge in conversation. It's good. Conversation's easy. I like conversation because I do podcasting. It's second nature. So I'm going to ask this question to you now, kind of jumping back into it. What do you think about podcasting? Because now you're not so new. You've been doing this right at an hour, let's say.
Whole hour's worth of podcasting experience.
Hey, a podcast.
How do you like it?
An hour of podcast experience can change somebody's life, really. I mean, so I'm just curious. What do you think about this experience?
I think it's great to get. This is just knowledge. I think it's a dual-edged sword because, I mean, what I could be saying is complete bullshit, right? It could
Totally.
be complete bullshit, right?
Absolutely.
And I guarantee, like, a lot, maybe 70% of what people say is complete bullshit. So, you're putting all that out there. And with AI right now, I don't really know. It could be could be detrimental to human civilization.
Podcasting.
Giving them that kind of information.
Okay.
You know, because this is just information. And if you were an algorithm that could, like, decode human or, like, English language and in whatever dialect, I have, then you can know what I'm saying. And then if you had knowledge of the world, which you would if you're AI, because you have a supreme memory and you have none of the ill qualities of the human mind, like forgetfulness or, lack of focus or...
Totally.
Yeah, they could really know a lot about us. Like, they could know a lot more about
this
us than...
This conversation took a completely different turn than I thought.
We know about us.
Sorry.
I
wasn't expecting you to go there.
It's just really... I had
No, but I love podcasting. I think it's great.
You said something about AI.
Are you afraid of Skynet or something?
No, it's
yeah,
like
basically.
They literally just told us next summer's major motion picture blockbuster. Like the AI, they're coming through our podcasts. They're going to get us.
No, they're not coming through the podcast.
AI, that Sophia AI thing that's
Jesse brought that up to us.
Yeah.
No, so
I
she
keep
could...
seeing the video floating around
Sophia
Facebook.
is listening to what we are saying. Once you upload this...
Right now.
She will take in this information.
Hey, Sophia.
And then
shout out, girl.
This is going to be, built into her mind.
Weird.
And
That's
she's
crazy.
going to know. She's going to know that
And
I know
she has
about her.
citizenship.
Yeah, I also read there's an article that somebody posted.
Hey guys, if I just die out of nowhere in the
was
next
totally
couple
Sophia.
months, yeah.
Let's stop talking about her right now. Skynet.
See how scary this is?
No, here's the crazy thing though, is that I read an article that somebody posted that she was beheaded. Saudi Arabia beheads their only robot citizen. It wasn't real, obviously. It was like The Onion or whatever shit. But it was hilarious just because it was like so ludicrous, that could even be a headline, that there's a real AI that has citizenship. I think that's amazing. It's
she
the way
created
of the future.
her own cryptocurrency.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And no one can there's barely, there's only a few people on the planet that can write and understand computer programming to write like a blockchain algorithm, and Sophia has her own cryptocurrency already.
Whoa. That's fucked up. See, we are moving towards Skynet. This is all real.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay. We don't have to.
Food and movies.
So let's...
Which is really important.
So just learn about magnetics. That's all I'm saying.
We tangented away from Justice League. We never really finished our review. So let's get back to that.
I'd give it a B.
You did give it a B. I said B+, but the movie has the building of the team. I think they underutilized Aquaman a little bit.
Yeah. Jason
Momoa. I was super surprised at Ray Fisher's character, Victor Stone, the cyborg.
He was great. I'm so glad
great.
that he was more of a featured character and not just one of those background characters, because they barely promoted him in this
in the trailers and stuff. Yeah. And then the Return of Superman is cool, but then they had to use $1.5 million to to remove his mustache because he was in another movie where he was contractually obligated to keep his mustache,
which I thought looked really weird, because I kept thinking in the theater, it was why is Superman's face all digital looking? It looks really strange to me. And then Nate said, he had to do reshoots. And I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, there was a lot of reshoots that happened for Justice League when Joss Whedon came in and decided to finish up. There were some things he wanted to kind of better put together, so he decided to go that route. They create the team. Superman returns, kicks the shit out of the team. Then he's a part of the team. And then they go and they, as a team, stop Steppenwolf, and they take the mother boxes apart, and all is right with the world. And there's this cool moment. There was an Easter egg for the Green Lanterns, which was neat. Solid B+ outing for DC. But I don't
extra credit scene.
I don't know that they will make another Justice League movie because this movie only made $96 million at the box office this weekend. It was projected at 120 to 130, 120 to 130 million. It dropped all the way to 96. It did less than Thor did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it barely beat Amazing Spider-Man 2's box office. and it also made $300 million to make Justice League.
Wow.
So they did not make their money back.
Damn.
They're in pain right now.
That sucks.
They didn't even make a third of their money back opening weekend.
Well, they shouldn't spend $300 million making a movie then.
Correct.
Correct. What is the point? What?
But the fucked up thing about movies is now is long term.
Make their money back because of
merchandise,
international sales, international releases.
Plus, you have the DVD and Blu-ray release.
Merchandise.
You know,
$300 million though. Come on.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So they have to make
and $1 million of it was spent getting rid of that dude's mustache.
Yes.
Yeah, $1 million.
1.5.
You know what this is paying for?
Nothing.
It's paying for creeps to like
be in Hollywood,
grab chicks.
You know what's crazy?
Get away with it.
Brett Ratner, he directed some of the X-Men movies. His production company, Rat Pack, was a part of the Justice League movie. It'll be the last time you see his company on anything. Gal Gadot said she would refuse to do Wonder Woman 2 if Brett Ratner was still involved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I heard about that, actually.
He has since been removed.
That's the man that Ellen Page was writing her essay about.
Yes, and that was awful to read about as well.
That was sad, yeah.
But, you know, this has been a really awesome episode of Foodies Watching Movies. I don't know what else you want to talk about today, V, if there's anything really off the cuff that you want to get down into. Totally just dropped the mic. That was crazy. And not in the good way.
No, I think we covered about what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, tomorrow, folks, is Thanksgiving. And we just want to say from the Journey into Comics Network, from us at Foodies Watching Movies, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving with your family.
Gobble, gobble.
Enjoy that turkey. Maybe when we come back, we'll come up with some creative recipes for leftovers. Who knows what we'll
I have some good ones.
Yeah, we'll bring them to the table.
Come back
Jesse, we would love to have you back. It's been awesome having you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks
today.
for being a part of Foodies
Thanks
Watching
for
Movies.
inviting me.
Yeah, man. So,
and, you know, get your tryptophan.
Yes, get it ready. It's time to go to sleep.
Yeah,
get that tryptophan.
Turkey comas.
Turkey comas.
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to cook a turkey?
My favorite way to cook a turkey?
Yeah.
Wow, we always swear by just putting it in a bag.
What kind of bag?
An oven bag.
Okay, but do you do any preparation?
What kind of bag?
An oven bag, okay.
I don't usually make the turkeys. I've only made a turkey once. I helped make a deep fried turkey once. I'll never do that again. Nothing bad happened, but actually that one was really good. Jake's mom, Jesse, you know
Bonnie.
who I'm talking about. Bonnie, shout out to Bonnie. She made a Cajun turkey one year with like a food injector, and she injected Cajun seasonings into the turkey.
She's a genius. I was just about to say, turkeys are always better with butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you put like a stick of butter like under the skin.
Yeah, I just inject it with butter.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
and then they deep fried it, and it was very good.
It didn't explode.
No, nothing terrible happened.
That's great.
I was surprised. Nothing terrible happened, but that one was good. My mom always just makes it with a fuck ton of butter and herbs and then puts it in the oven bag.
Roast.
Jesse, how do you do your turkeys? You're a chef. You know what's up.
Different, dude. You know, I like to do different stuff.
Okay, so what's your favorite preparation of a Thanksgiving turkey?
Honestly, the classic, the traditional method, just roasting it.
Do you cook it with the stuffing inside of it? Do you
no, that's bad for you. You're not supposed
to infuse it with flavors, like put onions and like shit inside
definitely
of it.
Definitely put garlic and onions and shallots and pour a bottle of wine in that motherfucker. And then
see what I do.
Inject it with butter. Rub some herbs on it.
Injecting with butter. That's interesting. See, my methodology for cooking the turkey has always been like, you know, clear the middle out all the way. You chop up a whole onion, chop up 3 whole peppers, different color, whatever color variation you want. That way it's a little more festive looking. Pick some other stuff, garlic, like you said, your different salts and peppers and stuff. Stick of butter in the middle of the bird. Stick of butter under each wing, and then a stick of butter in the top skin. And you just bake the fuck out of that for like 4 to 6 hours.
Depending on the weight.
And what you want it to do, when it's done, you should literally just have turkey meat. It should fall off the bone.
Right.
And not be on the bone anymore, and you should not have to carve a fucking thing. Take the bones out and have a nice night. Enjoy your turkey.
I heard the best way to carve a turkey is just old school with an electric knife, with an electric carver.
I have really nice knives, so.
You have chef knives. Not everybody has that.
Use a knife.
He has a chef knife tattoo.
He does have a chef knife tattoo.
What is other than your job? Was there like a momentous moment that inspired you to get that tattoo? Or
no, not really. Me and one of my ex-girlfriends were just getting tattoos. She wanted to get a tattoo, so I'm like, I'll get a tattoo. What kind of tattoo should I get? And I just came up with that because I'm like, it's a important thing to me.
And it's like an important part of your history too.
Yeah, well,
that's
now,
like a,
yeah.
You know, a solid memory.
Yeah, I wanted to do like a full sleeve
of chefy type stuff.
Yeah, with like onion and some asparagus and like just like a tomato here.
Classy.
It'd actually kind of be awesome. I don't think I've ever seen a food sleeve.
I've seen some fancy food tattoos.
I've seen many food sleeves being in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah, I should take that back.
But it's it's my grandparents weren't pleased.
They're traditional.
I don't know. I think they think it's like a religion thing, you know, like once you mark your body, then
yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm fucked.
Yeah,
I have a lot of tattoos.
Maybe it's like Catholic or something like that. I'm not. No, because don't Catholic priests have tattoos and stuff like that?
I don't know. I'm not religious. That's a good movie. Religulous with Bill Maher. Yeah.
Bill
Maher's
Maher,
interesting.
Yeah.
Makes you fucking think a whole lot. And that's
I do
what
like watching Real Time with Bill Maher because he has like, you know, a Republican and a conservative and like someone in the middle there. So there's like actual debate and conversation. It's not all just biased shit.
I think you meant a Republican and a Democrat. You said a Republican and a conservative. It's the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm really tired. We had a really long day today. A lot of driving.
Yeah, driving is life.
Yeah.
The party system's stupid.
Yeah,
it sure is.
But this is not the poor report. We don't have to get into that on this podcast today. Right. Anyways, Jesse, thank you so much again for being on the show today. I'll get into the network plugs real quick before we get out of here. As always, you can listen to Foodies Watching Movies on all the different podcasting platforms. Just go to whatever your podcasting platform is, whether it's iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, Overcast, Downcast, Podchaser, whatever it happens to be. Search Journey into Comics Network. You can go through there every other Wednesday. You'll find a new episode of Foodies Watching Movies. You can get us on all the different social media sites, whether it's Facebook at Foodies Watching Movies, Twitter at Film Foodies, or Instagram at Foodies Watching Movies. If that's going to do it for this week of Foodies Watching Movies, this is episode 6 of season 2. I have been Nate.
I'm Veronica.
I'm Jesse.
Thank you again so much for being on, man. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we will see you guys next time.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Ciao.